Live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Greetings, superior beings, greetings, supreme being. Welcome to Universal Peace Television. Hello, dear YouTubers. So, the broadcast we have for you all today is Prince Charles has blood transfusions regularly from your children to make him live longer? Question marks, because I didn't write that article. And it would be quite interesting, of course, if the Prince of Wales has these blood transfusions like many other elites they claim. And the people that have tortured my teeth out of my mouth and my mother to death with their feedback array in Poker Flats, Alaska. Poker Flat, Alaska, they always like to change it into flats. They definitely are into this type of thing, and they enjoy doing it to the most innocent people, children, and because they're trying to be the most evil for their god Lucifer, the Luciferian, Freemasons, and Jesuits, especially the Jesuits that want this two-state solution world war to create a global government and depopulate to 500 million and rule the world from Jerusalem. Might also see George Soros' EU superstate as a stepping stone to create this totalitarian Luciferian global government, but they're not going to tell you that, of course, the satanic inversion and their lies are used to bring it about, basically, because 7 billion people do not want to die. I'm trying to switch to display capture. Okay. So let's start with this stuff. I've already prepared it a little bit. Let's see if we can get the speech engine to work.
Anything wrong with the idea to make it illegal to wear a mask or face covering at demos? Macron, Nick. The dental torturers could be corrupt or satanic police, Bilderberg. The voice to skull messages of the torturer were in Dutch. Satanic murder cults among European royalty, nobility and the Knights Templar. Gilles de Rais, Vatican, Jesuits, Mafia, Baphomet, Lave, Freemasonry, Mazzini, Pike, Baroness Lalaurie, Roman occult rituals of Lupercalia, Ninth Circle child sacrifice. Prince Philip of England of the Coburg Saxe Gothic clan, descended from Vlad the Impaler or Dracula of Transylvania. Prince Charles has a stake in Transylvania and lives in Dracula's Transylvania 6 months out of each year. Has blood transfusions regularly from young children to make him live longer, like many of the billionaire globalist class. Like Al Gore of the firm Blood and Gore, who skims off the carbon tax scam, keeps raw blood in his refrigerator. The Bohemian Grove is a super ultra elite club, including presidents of the United States, that practice bizarre satanic druid customs during the summer solstice in a grove in the redwood forest above San Francisco, when the sun, Sol, appears to be at its highest point in the sky. One of the Earth's hemispheres is at its maximum tilt towards the sun. It creates the longest daytime of the year. Then the Bohemian Grove emulate the ancient satanic secret cosmic mystery cults of Babylon, Rome, and Greece. The members secretly celebrate and sacrifice to the old gods such as Moloch, Ishtar, Cybele, Lilith, Attis, sun gods Mithras, and Apollo, Sol Invictus, unconquered sun. Bohemian Grove with the cremation of care ritual, where they sacrifice a child, killing it and burning it. They say they pretend to, beneath a 40-feet stone statue of an owl symbolizing Minerva and thus Cybele. The key is that the satanic religion and its recruiting cults of Freemasonry and the Crowleyan sexual ritual Ordo Templi Orientis are fake gangs, created by men as a technique to conquer the world. EnergyEnhancement.org/Satanic Murder Cults, European Royalty, Nobility, Knights Templar, Gilles de Rais, Vatican, Jesuits, Mafia, Baphomet, Lave, Freemasonry, Mazzini, Pike, Baroness Lalaurie, Roman occult rituals, Lupercalia, Ninth Circle child sacrifice. HTM. The David Duke Show, the Zionist deep state support of ISIS and destruction of the Western world, May 15, 2017. 1. 20% of all child deaths in London Borough caused by inbreeding. A new report from the London Borough of Redbridge has revealed almost 1 in 5 of all child deaths in the area since 2008 were down to their parents being close relatives. The Council's report found between 2008 and 2016, 19% of child deaths in the borough were caused by infants being born to consanguineous relationships, marriage or otherwise sexual relations between couples who are first cousins or closer. DailyStormer.com. The David Duke Show, The Zionist Deep State Support of ISIS and Destruction of the Western World, May 15, 2017. 1. While the issue of Clinton's private email server was in the headlines throughout the campaign, the contents of her emails, which were revealed by WikiLeaks and their veracity never denied, are almost never discussed. The emails show that as Secretary of State she knowingly and materially supported the rise of ISIS. Select language. Satanic murder cults among European royalty, nobility and the Knights Templar, Giles de Race, Vatican, Jesuits, Mafia, Baphomet, Lave, Freemasonry, Mazzini, Pike, Baroness Lalaurie, Roman occult rituals of Lupercalia, Ninth Circle child sacrifice. It is not just the
You're going to have a deportation force, and you're going to do it humanely, and you're going to have a deportation force.
We got to go and we got to knock the shit out of these people.
Universal peace now.
Universal peace.
Come.
Grab him by the pussy.
The government is criminal. Okay.
Universal peace now. This is Donald Trump. Prevent a two-state solution. World by any means necessary. Included in the two-state solution agreement that the allies of Israel and Palestine may not intervene if they go to war with each other to prevent a two-state solution. World universal peace now. Keys to you, all Rick. Thank you for your idea for universal peace. Universal peace now.
George Soros and Margaret are committed of 300 subversive of the club of members. Real John David Wills patronally.
Jesuits, as some would argue, it is much more deeper. The satanic murder cults among European royalty, nobility and the Knights Templar preceded the formations of the Jesuits in 1531. 1. It is certain because Knights Templar, French nobleman Gilles de Montmorency Laval aka Baron Giles de Race, the 15 princely domains and Duke of Brittany, England, was executed for secret Roman Catholic Black Mass blood sacrifices on October 26, 1440, almost 100 years before the Jesuits were formed. 2. Baphomet. Herite Empoita told tales of how he delighted in bathing in the boys' blood and cutting off their heads himself so that he could wash his face and beard in the gore. They said he often had his servants stab a boy in the jugular so he could shower in the spurting blood. He sat on their chests and cut across part of their throats so they bled slowly to death. Others he hanged until they were nearly dead and then cut their throats. Still others had all their limbs cut off, or were ripped open so he could see their hearts and entrails. After death, all the bodies and their clothes were burned in the castle's great kitchen furnaces. The servants spoke of obscene torture and blood-splattered walls in each of his castles. When Gilles returned to the court, dressed from head to toe in white to indicate his repentance. The precise number of Baron Gilles Roman Catholic Coven victims is not known, as most of the bodies were burned or buried, just as in the case of Lady Baroness Marie Delphine Machardy Lalaurie in French New Orleans. However, the number of the Gilles Coven murders is generally placed between 80 and 200, a few have conjectured numbers upwards of 600. The victims ranged in age from 6 to 18 and included both sexes. 3. Ex-banker claims he was invited to take part in child sacrifice rituals. Article https://www.infowars.com/ex-banker claims he was invited to take part in child sacrifice rituals/ YouTube of interview https://www.youtube.com/watch v=FTZWFL0E6/4 Banker full interview https://www.youtube.com/watch V equals NPC 5 Jew 120. These people were Luciferians. Paul Joseph Watson, Infowars.com, May 2, 20171470 comments. Ex-banker claims he was invited to take part in child sacrifice rituals. A former Dutch banker has given a sit-down interview during which he claims that he was invited by members of the financial elite to participate in child sacrifice rituals. Ronald Bernard was a successful entrepreneur who ran a number of businesses before entering the world of finance. Upon doing so, he was told by his peers to put his conscience in the freezer. "I was training to become a psychopath and I failed," said Bernard. Bernard's background checks out. He is profiled in this Devoxgrant article from January 2017. He goes on to describe how elitists saw the people as useless parasites and were completely content to crash economies and destroy companies to enrich themselves. Bernard then relates how he was invited to participate in occult satanic rituals with other elitists. To put it carefully, most people followed a not very mainstream religion. These people, most of them, were Luciferians. And then you can say, religion is a fairy tale, God doesn't exist, none of that is real. Well, for these people it is truth and reality, and they served something immaterial which they called Lucifer. And I also was in contact with those circles, only I laughed at it because to me they were just clients. So I went to places called churches of Satan. So I visited these places and they were doing their holy mass with naked women, like Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut, and liquor and stuff. And it just amused me. I didn't believe in any of this stuff and was far from convinced any of this was real. In my opinion, the darkness and evil is within the people themselves. I didn't make the connection yet. So I was a guest in those circles and it amused me greatly to see all those naked women and the other things. It was the good life. But then at some moment, which is why I am telling you this, I was invited to participate in sacrifices abroad. Bernard then breaks down and starts crying before explaining, that was the breaking point, children. The former banker said his refusal to participate in the rituals made him a threat to the elite and that this is the method used to blackmail politicians all over the world. He also stated that these satanic rituals had been used to control the world, including all the bankers and politicians, for thousands of years. The people who do not underestimate the severity of this are but few. Because this is an annihilating force that hates our guts, it hates creation, it hates life. And it will do anything to destroy us completely. And the way to do that is to divide humanity. Divide and conquer is their truth, he added. Whether Bernard is telling the truth or not, and there's no way to really determine whether that's the case, the notion of members of the elite being connected to child pedophile rings, torture rituals, human sacrifice rituals and cannibalism rituals is a manifestly provable fact. As the video below documents, in virtually every major case across the world where child sex slave rings are exposed, from France, to Portugal, to Britain, to Belgium, to the United States, members of the political, judicial and celebrity elite are embroiled. When revelations about British TV entertainer Jimmy Savile's rampant pedophilia came to light, it was also reported that he was involved in satanic child abuse rituals with other occultists. Watch the full interview with Bernard here. https://www.youtube.com/watch V equals NPC 5 Jew 120. Part 2 will be released later. The satanic rituals have been used from 10,000 years of Millet ritual burning, human sacrifice simulation, molestation. Cybele and Adonis, state religion of the Roman Empire, with its tall herbolium in which worshippers were showered with the blood of human and animal sacrifices, tall herbolium of satanic Cybele and Attis. Cybele and Attis Roman state religion, tall herbolium ritual animal and human sacrifice bathing in blood. Cybele and Adonis, state religion of the Roman Empire, with its homosexual, pedophile satanic rituals, castrated homosexual galley priests and Russian Skoptsi and Amazon breast castration. All of this points to how satanic ritual has been used to create a psychopathic bloodline over class, control the lower orders and degenerate society for thousands of years whilst hiding behind Christianity. In war, the real Luciferian elite, the heads of all the thousands of years old generational satanic dynastic bloodline families worldwide believe that the religion which is strongest in creating intelligent psychopaths to rule, will win the competition to rule the world and maintain the totally fooled Christian population in a poverty-stricken, uneducated and degenerate state lacking in evolution, a golden goose society, ready to be plucked and eaten by the satanic bloodline families, eternally. Riches, luxury, a higher standard of living had softened the leaders and armies of the Roman Empire. Mad, satanic Roman emperors had created a disgust amongst the population for ritual satanic murder sacrifices, and the poor people turned to Christianity, which by itself should have civilized the world and made it evolved and rich. However, the thousands of years old generational satanic dynastic bloodline families worldwide hid their Satanism behind Roman Empire created Christianity. They became crypto-Christians, and infiltrated Christianity into satanic states to hasten their takeover. 1. So as to secretly continue to create the satanic psychopath elite who follow satanic ritual sex, ritual drugs, ritual blood sacrifice, ritual human sacrifice, ritual torture, ritual burning alive, ritual cannibalism, ritual castration. In all the thousands of years old generational satanic dynastic bloodline families worldwide, satanic ritual has been used to create a psychopathic overclass, control the lower orders and degenerate society for thousands of years, a society controlled by satanic psychopaths. 2. So as to infiltrate a type of naive Christianity, ignorant of their satanic psychopathic rulers. Remember, Christ whipped the bankers out of the temple, in every country in the world so as to allow them to become conquered and stay conquered, to subdue even their own populations, whilst maintaining Satanism in their own bloodline families. Real Christianity is higher, more civilized, than Satanism because it includes heart energy, the heart of Christ and conscience, that, still small voice which are destroyed by Satanism. Real Christianity is higher than Satanism because it does not contain the rituals which define Satanism: ritual sex, ritual drugs, ritual blood sacrifice, ritual human sacrifice, ritual torture, ritual burning alive, ritual cannibalism, ritual castration, whose purpose is to create degenerated psychopaths. Thus, after the fall of the Roman Empire, groups such as the satanic human sacrificing Visigoths, Vandals, Angles, Saxons, Franks, Ostrogoths, and Lombards took turns ravaging the empire, eventually carving out areas in which to settle down. The Angles and Saxons populated the British Isles, and the Franks ended up in France. The Germanic satanic pagan human sacrificing religion which originally conquered Rome and Britain became Christianized, and another wave of satanic drug-fueled berserker Norman, religion of Wotan conquered Normandy, Britain in 1066, and then Italy and Sicily, started to use the same technique of hiding behind Christianity to their Christian populations in the Holy Roman Empire, and the Hohenstaufens, Luxembourgs, Bourbons, Saxe-Coburg Gotha families etc. remain their satanic rulers. The satanic Roman families migrated to Venice, which eventually sacked Constantinople and started to infiltrate Britain in the time of Henry VIII and Queen Elizabeth I using their agents, the Cecil family, the Lords of Salisbury. They completely took over Britain in the time of William of Orange, moving satanic Venice to London and creating the satanic East India Company and the satanic British Empire. Under Wotan-inspired Himmler SS and crystal meth-fueled Hitler and his crystal meth-fueled army during the Second World War conquered Europe, and almost Russia was conquered by the satanic Anglo-American Empire. This same process of civilizing Christianity conquered pagan India, which had defeated Alexander the Great, whilst incorporating through marriage into the satanic British bloodlines the elite Indian families like Dada, so that satanic bloodline family overclasses now rule India. Satanic drugs, opium, Christian missionaries, Marxism, and putting 33rd degree Freemason, Yale educated, Agent Mao in charge, defeated China, whilst incorporating through marriage into the satanic British bloodlines the elite Chinese family, so that a satanic bloodline family overclasses now rule China and its elite Apple slave factories and its Falun Gong eviscerating transplant vans. Same technique in Africa: Christianity, missionaries, Mijdrecht, Zulus etc. Thus satanic bloodline, blood and genetics become preeminent firstly because of satanic teaching and family mind control techniques which they use on all their offspring, creating psychopaths to rule, but also the satanic myth that lesser bloodlines are not truly human, the oiks, as they are called at Eton, and thus become satanic prey. My blood is red, the infiltration of Satanism into politics, religion, music and entertainment. Satanism worldwide for 10,000 years links from current Satanists to ancient traditions, John Podesta and the devil Lady Gaga and the cult of Marina Abramovic. Spirit cooking the satanic, mother goat Lady Gaga, the secret cult of Lady, Black Madonna, Philosophy Cybele, Victor Hugo, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Black Virgins, Cybele and Iset, God Pan, Knights Templar, and the Serpent Cult. All Satanism in one place. The Energy Enhancement Meditation Course, Anti-Satanism and Luciferianism Directory. The key is that the satanic religion and its recruiting cults of Freemasonry and the Crowleyan sexual ritual Ordo Templi Orientis are fake gangs, created by men as a technique to conquer the world. Dennis Brell, a 33rd degree Mason and a Grand Master in the Ordo Templi Orientis, OTO, had become disillusioned by the Illuminati's present activities, originally believing that the Illuminati was a mystic lodge designed to illuminate one into mystical heights of ascended awareness. Dennis eventually learned that such metaphysical talk was just so much hot air designed to gain the willing assistance of lower-ranking lodge members, who were unknowingly being manipulated into serving the hypocritical, self-seeking and self-serving imperialistic goals of a relatively small inner core of Illumin members. Some years ago a man by the name of John Todd, a member of a family who were high-level and generational members of a Druidic witchcraft cult, alleged that through his occult contacts he was chosen to be initiated into a deep-level Illuminati lodge. He claimed that in doing so he had to unlearn much of the Wiccan philosophies which he was taught at a young age. These occult teachings were merely a means, he soon found out, of this inner core of initiates to control the lower ranks of the lodge. This inner core, which consisted of 13 individuals, were, he claims, the leaders of all the large Wiccan, witchcraft organizations as well as the leaders of world Freemasonry. These satanic bloodline men controlled both movements from their lofty positions in charge of all secret services, Freemasons, Jesuits, Knights of Malta, CFR, Trilateral Commission etc., along with much of the world's drug trafficking, and had powerful influence in NGOs like Soros World Economic and Political Movements. Mr. Todd soon learned that this inner core were continually fearful that the lower-ranking members of the occult societies would turn against them if the lower members ever found out that this inner council were merely using these lower pawns to increase their own wealth and their godlike power and authority over the rest of humanity. The satanic Sabbaton Frankish Rothschilds of London, he also learned, were at the very heart of this conspiracy, along with the satanic Jesuits in Rome. The Rothschilds were considered to be human gods by many occultists and, according to Mr. Todd, were in constant communication with Lucifer, who they themselves considered to be God. All current central war banks serve the satanic Sabbaton Frankish Rothschild family, guardian of the Vatican treasury worth $500 trillion. Including 70% of all Fortune 500 international companies, 70% of world banks and 100% of all central banks, and workers for the trillionaire crowned heads of Europe and the American oligarchs like the Rockefellers who are just another branch of the Rothschild family, and the new Venice British Empire. Dennis Brell, John Todd and in fact millions of former communists, realized that there was an incredible contradiction between what these world socialists were telling their followers and what these inner elite were actually practicing. The connection we make between Illuminism and communism and socialism, which is still very strong in mainland China as Mao was a 33rd degree Freemason, is no coincidence, as all are socialist movements. Also, according to well-known geopolitical analysts such as Dr. John Coleman, Karl Marx himself had known ties with satanic 33rd degree Freemasonry and the satanic Jesuit order. Indeed, he was paid by British Secret Services agent Ambassador Urquhart in his office in the British National Library to write Das Kapital on behalf of the British Secret Services. thereafter used to destabilize and take over Russia using agents Lenin and Stalin, and China using agent and 33rd degree Freemason Mao. British Secret Service socialism is an outgrowth of their Marx-created communism, which is the next stage of control for UK, USA, China, India, Australia, Canada, Israel, Europe, Argentina, Brazil etc. takeover of the world, globalist wet dream. Just as the creation of Wahhabism in 1708 AD by Agent Himfer of the British Secret Services paying Abdul Wahhab, and seducing him with their band of sex-kitten female agents, to create the Wahhabism religion and then attaching it politically to the House of Saud. See this book http://energyenhancement.org/Himfer14 Confessions of a British Spy.pdf. This book is very interesting because it details the methodology of how Britain destroyed the Ottoman Empire as a template of how British secret services operate in every country in order to take over the world. Religious missionary schools and universities churning out revolutionaries in the countries targeted for destabilization. Students taken from countries, Rhodes Scholars, then educated in USA and British universities, honey-trapped by hordes of sex-kitten agents, recruited by the secret services, made Freemasons and turned on to Satanism, mind-controlled in Tavistock, and returned to their countries as politicians and leaders of Freemasonry to take over their country for the Anglo-American Empire. The British Secret Services gave Saudi Arabia and all its trillions of dollars of petroleum to the Satanic House of Saud after the First World War and the destruction of the Ottoman Empire. This was done to obfuscate, as in the creation of Stootrages in British India, the fact that after the Second World War, behind the scenes in Saudi Arabia, Europe, India, China, USA, Australia, South Africa, Canada, Israel, Argentina, Brazil etc., it is really Britain with its band of satanic lords, who rule all these countries by proxy and, through globalism and its New World Order, intend to conquer the world. Saudi Arabia has been giving $400 million annually for the creation of Wahhabist mosques in every country of the world in order to create ISIS terrorism worldwide. The satanic element indicated by the raw eating of hearts and livers of prisoners, still beating after just being torn from their chests, cannibalism by ISIS leaders. ISIS aids the source quantum creature employed by the CIA, NSA and Rothschild and his color revolution hybrid warfare destabilization of the Middle East, Russia and China as well as of Europe and USA to create police state control for the protection of the populaces. Indeed, the problem, reaction, solution dialectic is used by Illuminism to control society and dumb it down in this way. Brell alleged that some within the Illuminati were so heartless as to believe that their socialist world order must be brought about even if the orchestrating of wars, etc., had to be accomplished in order to create the conditions necessary for establishing it. Or, in other words, that the end justified the means. These lost souls were and are apparently convinced that they have the divine right to decide the fate of nations, and that the masses of humanity exist for no other reason than to serve their cause. They consider themselves gods and the rest of humanity as mere mortals. So much for the end result of the false promise that was given to man by the serpent rays as revealed in Genesis chapter 3, which was that men could be as gods, and that the creature could be independent from or equal to the Creator. Prince Philip of England of the Coburg-Saxe Gothic clan, descended from Vlad the Impaler or Dracula of Transylvania. Prince Charles has a stake in Transylvania and lives in Dracula's Transylvania 6 months out of each year, has blood transfusions regularly from young children to make him live longer like many of the billionaire globalist class. Like Al Gore, the firm blood and gore who skims off the carbon tax scam keeps raw blood in his refrigerator. The Bohemian Grove is a super ultra elite club, including presidents of the United States, that practice bizarre satanic druid customs during the summer solstice in a grove in the redwood forest above San Francisco, when the sun, Sol, appears to be at its highest point in the sky. One of the Earth's hemispheres is at its maximum tilt towards the sun. It creates the longest daytime of the year. Then the Bohemian Grove emulate the ancient satanic secret cosmic mystery cults of Babylon, Rome, and Greece. The members secretly celebrate and sacrifice to the old gods such as Moloch, Ishtar Cybele, Lilith, Attis, sun gods Mithra Mithras, and Apollo, Sol Invictus Unconquered Sun, Bohemian Grove with the cremation of care ritual where they sacrifice a child, killing it and burning it, they say they pretend to, beneath a 40-feet stone statue of an owl symbolizing Minerva and thus Cybele. Old Satanism in one place, the Energy Enhancement Meditation Course, Anti-Satanism and Luciferianism directory. We are also quite certain about what the Knights Templars' supreme satanic good god had been, the Baphomet. It also seems certain that during Baron Gilles de Rais era around the 15th century that the Knights Templar human sacrifices had been dedicated to a god or demon in the form of a goat. Below, in the case of Lady Baroness Lalaury's New Orleans coven, we aren't sure of their idol. They allowed Baroness Lalaury to escape prosecution and a proper investigation because her victims were Africans subjected to human bondage. It is more probable than not that she sailed to France until the scandal of ritualistic mass murder, torture and mayhem of Africans discovered at her mansion died down. However, throughout the history of the European Order of Knights, their one consistent demon and god had been the ram goat, the Baphomet. So, it is more probable than not to begin with the secret blood covenant Knights Templar, than the Jesuits, Freemasons and Mafia as currently secretly involved in the 21st century continuation of the Black Mass, satanic blood sacrifice circles. 4. However, we face a serious dilemma in challenging the crimes of satanic cults, because society and our system of laws does not recognize ritualized and spiritual crimes without a corpus delicti, body of crime. It is also extremely difficult to prove ritualistic crimes because of ultra-blood oath secrecy of its religious doctrines and among its members. There are also over 2 million Masons in North America and nearly 5 million worldwide. Freemasonry is made up of many individuals in the legislative, national and state branches of the government. They are in the national and state judicial branches. They are in the old branches of the military and local law enforcement agencies. They are in schools, universities and corporations. They are in the music, television and movie industry, all subordinate and obedient to the Masonic Grand Lodges and the Baphomet Satan. They all ride the goat to carry on a vast global campaign of ritualized spiritual warfare, and a criminal enterprise to cover up and veil their crimes. According to the Temple and the Lodge and other Masonic literature, Robert the Bruce was also well connected to the satanic Merovingian bloodline. 36. Robert the Bruce, Antichrist and the Blood Sacrifice. Today, the secret satanic Merovingian bloodline circles play an important part in the secret Antichrist conspiracy and movement to return the satanic Merovingian bloodlines to world domination. Their belief system will be partly based on Celtic religion, which Robert the Bruce's descendants and Jacobites are seeking to restore, includes satanic ritual human blood sacrifice that some believe brought Robert the Bruce to power. 37. In Europe, ritual human blood sacrifice for Luciferian power, fortune and wealth never ended. Satanism went underground as the Roman Catholic Black Mass, ultimately becoming an important part of Illuminati secret ritual ceremonies, and the Ninth Satanic Circle. In the occult, the celebration of the end of purification of Mary is part of a Babylonian, Roman Lupercalia festival called Oimbluk. Oimbluk celebrates midwinter, the midpoint between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, and the return of the Sunday. Beginning February 2nd, candles were lit to welcome the sun, and the women began their purification process for the upcoming fertility rites of spring. The Roman Catholic Church adopted this custom from Irish pagans who served the goddess whom they called Bridget. 104. Lupercalia, the Feast of Lupercus, the mighty wolf hunter, is an ancient Roman blood sacrifice, human highest sacrifice, celebration of Lupercalia held in honor of Lupercus, the deified great hunter of Rome. This celebration also included worship of the goddess of fertility, Venus. 105. Lupercus is the god of shepherds. The Greeks called Lupercus by the name of Pan. In the Middle East, Ban was called Baal. 106. Ban is the guardian god of Arcadia. Saint Dominic was the Vatican's first Inquisitor General of the 20-year military Albigensian Crusade or Cathar Crusade, 1209–1229, initiated by Pope Innocent III to eliminate Catharism in the Languedoc district of France. The fanatical Saint Dominic, along with the Magna Carta Roman Catholic Knights Templar, led the torture and slaughter of the Cathars throughout all Europe. but failed to discover the location of their treasures and Christian ancient relics, and the Holy Grail. 118. Saint Dominic had the Cathars gathered together wherever they were found, and burned to death and mass murdered them by the tens of thousands. If these Roman Catholic fanatics slaughtered and mass murdered their own people over religious doctrine, what more would they do to Africans and African descendants that they considered to be inferior creatures? In French New Orleans and Louisiana, the first Bishop of New Orleans and the brother of a French master Freemason, Bishop Louis-Guillaume Valentin Duberg, enslaved Africans. The Jesuits, Capuchins, Russelines, and the Dominican sisters openly exploited and enslaved Africans. Jackson Square is a historic park in the French Quarter that stands in front of the Roman Catholic St. Louis Cathedral, designed and built by Knights Templar, Freemasons. This is the cathedral attended zealously by Roman Catholics Mesdames Marie Catherine Laveau and Marie Delphine Machardy Lalaurie. This is the place where the ghosts and spirits of secret high-level Freemason Capuchin Friar Purunwan, Madame Marie Laveau, and the tortured souls of thousands of Africans are said to inhabit. It is the grounds of Madame Laveau's secret satanic black mass, and not far from French Knight of St. Louis descendant Baroness Lalaurie's mansion of satanic blood sacrifice of black people. Lest you ever bound to forget the horror and evil just down the street from Jackson Square and St. Louis Cathedral at Baroness Lalaurie's mansion on Royal Street in the French Quarter, I'll remind you of some horrific details. According to rumor, over a dozen disfigured and maimed slaves were manacled to the walls or floor. Several had allegedly been the subject of gruesome medical experiments. The exact details are unclear, owing to the horrific nature of the crime. Many details were either swept under the rug or embellished. Perhaps the most gruesome of Madame Lalaurie's killings was discovered by a young pickpocket by the name of Christopher Knowles. Knowles had broken into the Lalaurie residence with intention of stealing jewelry and other valuables. He broke in through the window, and on the floor he discovered a bucket filled with mutilated human genitalia. Next to the bucket was a body. The body appeared to have been force-fed the contents of the bucket until he eventually died from choking. Lalaurie was even reported to have tortured and killed local activist Adam Westcott, reportedly gouging out his eyes and letting crows devour his remains. One man looked as though he had been victim of some bizarre makeshift sex change. Another one had a hole in his head where a stick had been inserted to stir his brains. A woman was trapped inside a small cage where her arms and legs had been badly broken and then reset at odd angles, making her appear as some sort of human crab. Another woman had her arms and legs removed and patches of her flesh had been sliced off in a circular motion to make her appear as a giant caterpillar. Some had their mouths stuffed with animal excrements, sewn shut, and had then starved to death. Others had their hands sewn to different parts of their bodies. One woman had her entrails pulled out and was secured to the floor by her own intestines. A small boy of about 12 had the flesh on half of his face peeled back, revealing muscle, veins, and so forth. The wound had since been infested with disease and insects. 2 men were found to have had their tongues sewed together. One girl wore a suit made from the skin of several skinned slaves, the limbs of which were hacked and used to decorate the grand gore chamber. Most disturbing of all was an elderly man whose penis was cut into 5 equal strands, each of which was attached to a hook and the body hoisted to the ceiling, with 2 candles placed in his eye sockets to form a macabre chandelier. Most of the victims were found dead. Those who were still alive begged to be put out of their misery and died shortly after. Also discovered in the attic were teacups and saucers, encrusted with a red substance. There were several bottles lying about with what was assumed to be the same red substance, later identified as blood. Actually, some press accounts from early 1834 are marginally more explicit than the B, though their reliability is difficult to ascertain. For example, the Religious Intelligencer of May 10, 1834 reports the discovery of 7 poor unfortunate slaves. Some chained to the floor, others with chains around their necks fastened to the ceiling, and one poor man upwards of 60 years of age chained hand and foot and made fast to the floor in a kneeling position. His head bore the appearance of having been beaten until it was broken, and the worms were actually seen to be making a feast of his brains. A woman had her back literally cooked, if the expression may be used, with the lash. The very bones might be seen projecting through her skin. Cited by Courtney Barker, Misrecognized, Looking at Images of Black Suffering and Death, unpublished PhD dissertation, Duke University, 2008, p. 32. There seems little doubt that even abuse of this sort would have been more than enough to cause Larry to be described as a demon, in the shape of a woman by the New Orleans press. What went on at the Larry mansion in the French Quarter is no different than what went on at the 15th century French castle of Baron Gilles de Race. It was the secret Roman Catholic black mass blood sacrifice raising the favor of Satan. Jackson Square and the St. Louis Cathedral is filled with paramount ancient evil spirits of the past like Friar Purunwan, Madame Marie Laveau, and the black mass blood sacrifices straight out of medieval France. What is an old-fashioned masquerade party in New Orleans? First, Tina, Beyoncé and Solange are Luciferians, masters of deception, deliberately deceiving their fans and the masses. Second, New Orleans masquerade balls are old-world pagan occult rituals that had been restricted to white French secret societies bloodline Illuminati of the New World Order. Third, old-fashioned masquerade balls had been going on for almost 200 years before blacks were allowed to participate. 121. Fourth, the three secret founders that established the Mardi Gras, masquerade balls in New Orleans on a stable basis were Luciferians Albert Pike, Freemason, Knights of the Golden Circle, Ku Klux Klan, Judah Benjamin, Confederate Secretary of State, and John Slidell, Confederate States of America's Commissioner to France. Judah Benjamin was an agent of the Satanic House of Rothschild living in New Orleans in 1857. 122. Fifth, old-fashioned New Orleans Mardi Gras, masquerade balls are based on Roman occult rituals of Lupercalia linked to the Knights Templar, Rosicrucian Utopia Arcadia with Pan as God, Satanism worldwide for 10,000 years, links from current Satanists to ancient traditions, John Podesta and the Devil Lady Gaga and the cult of Marina Abramovic spirit cooking the satanic, Mother Goat Lady Gaga, the secret cult of Lady, Black Madonna, Philosophy Cybele, Victor Hugo, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Black Virgins, Cybele and Aset, God Pan, Knights Templar, and the Serpent Cult, Old Satanism in one place, the Energy Enhancement Meditation Course, Anti-Satanism and Luciferianism Directory. These rituals define Satanism: ritual sex, ritual drugs, ritual blood sacrifice, ritual human sacrifice, ritual torture, ritual burning alive, ritual cannibalism, ritual castration, ritual sex, Masonic Palladian rite, odor rituals. The key is that the satanic religion and its recruiting cults of Freemasonry and the Crowleyan sexual ritual Ordo Templi Orientis, are fake gangs, created by men as a technique to conquer the world. The satanic rituals have been used from 10,000 years of Milch ritual burning, human sacrifice immolation, molestation. Cybele and Adonis, state religion of the Roman Empire, with its taurobolium in which worshippers were showered with the blood of human and animal sacrifices, taurobolium, bathing in blood, of satanic Cybele and Attis. Cybele and Attis Roman state religion, taurobolium ritual animal and human sacrifice bathing in blood. Cybele and Adonis, state religion of the Roman Empire, with its homosexual, pedophile satanic rituals, castrated homosexual galley priests and Russian Skoptsi and Amazon breast castration. All of this points to how satanic ritual has been used to create a psychopathic bloodline overclass, control the lower orders and degenerate society for thousands of years whilst hiding behind Christianity. In war, the religion which is strongest in creating intelligent psychopaths to rule, will win the competition to rule the world and maintain the totally fooled Christian population in a poverty-stricken, uneducated and degenerate state lacking in evolution, a golden goose society, ready to be plucked and eaten by the satanic bloodline families, eternally. Riches, luxury, a higher standard of living had softened the leaders and armies of the Roman Empire. Mad, satanic Roman emperors had created a disgust amongst the population for ritual satanic murder sacrifices so that it became necessary to hide their Satanism behind Roman Empire created Christianity, and infiltrate Christianity into satanic states to hasten their takeover. 1. So as to secretly continue to create the satanic psychopath elite who follow the satanic, ritual, religion. Satanic ritual has been used to create a psychopathic overclass, control the lower orders and degenerate society for thousands of years. 2. So as to infiltrate the softening Christianity in every country in the world so as to allow them to become conquered and stay conquered, even their own populations, whilst maintaining Satanism in their own bloodline families. Thus the drug-fueled Berserker Norse, Norman religion of Wotan, and Germanic pagan satanic human-sacrificing Norse and Germanic religions, which originally conquered Rome, and then the satanic drug-fueled Norman Norsemen conquered Normandy, Britain in 1066 and then Italy and Sicily, started to use the same technique of hiding behind Christianity in the Holy Roman Empire, and the Hohenstaufens, Saxe-Coburg-Gotha families remained satanic. Under Wotan-inspired Himmler SS and crystal meth-fueled Hitler and his crystal meth-fueled army during the Second World War conquered Europe, and almost Russia was conquered by the satanic Anglo-American Empire. This same process of softening Christianity conquered pagan India, which had defeated Alexander the Great, whilst incorporating through marriage into the satanic British bloodlines the elite Indian families like Datta, so that satanic bloodline family overclasses now rule India. Satanic drugs, opium, Christian missionaries, Marxism, and putting 33rd degree Freemason, Yale educated, Agent Mao in charge, defeated China, whilst incorporating through marriage into the satanic British bloodlines the elite Chinese family, so that a satanic bloodline family overclasses now rule China and its elite apple slave factories and its Falun Gong eviscerating transplant vans. Same technique in Africa: Christianity, missionaries, Mijdrecht, Zulus, etc. Thus satanic bloodline, blood and genetics become preeminent, firstly because of satanic teaching and family mind control techniques, creating psychopaths to rule, but also the satanic myth that lesser bloodlines are not truly human, the Oiks, as they are called at Eton, and thus become satanic prey. My blood is red. The infiltration of Satanism into politics, religion, music and entertainment. The key is that the satanic religion and its recruiting cults of Freemasonry and the Crowleyan sexual ritual Ordo Templi Orientis are fake gangs, created by men as a technique to conquer the world. Dennis Bruhl, a 33rd degree Mason and a Grand Master in the Ordo Templi Orientis, OTO, had become disillusioned by the Illuminati's present activities, originally believing that the Illuminati was a mystic lodge designed to illuminate one into mystical heights of ascended awareness. Dennis eventually learned that such metaphysical talk was just so much hot air designed to gain the willing assistance of lower-ranking lodge members, who were unknowingly being manipulated into serving the hypocritical, self-seeking and self-serving imperialistic goals of a relatively small inner core of Illumin members. Some years ago, a man by the name of John Todd, a member of a family who were high-level and generational members of a Druidic witchcraft cult, alleged that through his occult contacts he was chosen to be initiated into a deep-level Illuminati lodge. He claimed that in doing so he had to unlearn much of the Wiccan philosophies which he was taught at a young age. These occult teachings were merely a means, he soon found out, of this inner core of initiates to control the lower ranks of the lodge. This inner core, which consisted of 13 individuals, were, he claims, the leaders of all the large Wiccan, witchcraft organizations as well as the leaders of World Freemasonry. These satanic bloodline men controlled both movements from their lofty positions in charge of all secret services, Freemasons, Jesuits, Knights of Malta, CFR, Trilateral Commission, etc., along with much of the world's drug trafficking, and had powerful influence in NGOs like Soros World Economic and political movements. Mr. Todd soon learned that this inner core were continually fearful that the lower-ranking members of the occult societies would turn against them if the lower members ever found out that this inner council were merely using these lower pawns to increase their own wealth and their godlike power and authority over the rest of humanity. The satanic Sabbaton Frankish Rothschilds of London, he also learned, were at the very heart of this conspiracy, along with the satanic Jesuits in Rome. The Rothschilds were considered to be human gods by many occultists and, according to Mr. Todd, were in constant communication with Lucifer, who they themselves considered to be God. All current central war banks serve the satanic Sabbaton Frankish Rothschild family, guardian of the Vatican treasury worth $500 trillion, including 70% of all Fortune 500 international companies, 70% of world banks and 100% of all central banks, and workers for the trillionaire crowned heads of Europe and the American oligarchs like the Rockefellers, who are just another branch of the Rothschild family, and the new Venice British Empire, Dennis Bruhl, John Todd, and in fact millions of former communists, realized that there was an incredible contradiction between what these world socialists were telling their followers and what these inner elite were actually practicing. The connection we make between Illuminism and communism and socialism, which is still very strong in mainland China as Mao was a 33rd degree Freemason, is no coincidence, as all are socialist movements. Also, according to well-known geopolitical analysts such as Dr. John Coleman, Karl Marx himself had known ties with satanic 33rd degree Freemasonry and the satanic Jesuit order. Indeed, he was paid by British Secret Services agent Ambassador Urquhart in his office in the British National Library to write Das Kapital on behalf of the British Secret Services, thereafter used to destabilize and take over Russia using agents Lenin and Stalin and China using agent and 33rd degree Freemason Mao. British Secret Service socialism is an outgrowth of their Marx-created communism, which is the next stage of control for UK, USA, China, India, Australia, Canada, Israel, Europe, Argentina, Brazil etc. takeover of the world, globalist wet dream. Just as the creation of Wahhabism in 1708 AD by Agent Himfer of the British Secret Services paying Abdul Wahhab, and seducing him with their band of sex-kitten female agents, to create the Wahhabism religion and then attaching it politically to the House of Saud. See this book http://energyenhancement.org/Himfer14 Confessions of a British Spy.pdf. This book is very interesting because it details the methodology of how Britain destroyed the Ottoman Empire as a template of how British Secret Services operate in every country in order to take over the world. Religious missionary schools and universities churning out revolutionaries in the countries targeted for destabilization. Students taken from countries, Rhodes Scholars, then educated in USA and British universities, honey-trapped by hordes of sex-kitten agents, recruited by the Secret Services, made Freemasons and turned on to Satanism, mind-controlled in Tavistock, and returned to their countries as politicians and leaders of Freemasonry to take over their country for the Anglo-American Empire. The British Secret Services gave Saudi Arabia and all its trillions of dollars of petroleum to the satanic House of Saud after the First World War and the destruction of the Ottoman Empire. This was done to obfuscate, as in the creation of Stutrajas in British India, the fact that after the Second World War, behind the scenes in Saudi Arabia, Europe, India, China, USA, Australia, South Africa, Canada, Israel, Argentina, Brazil etc., it is really Britain with its band of satanic lords, who rule all these countries by proxy and, through globalism and its New World Order, intend to conquer the world. Saudi Arabia has been giving $400 million annually for the creation of Wahhabist mosques in every country of the world in order to create ISIS terrorism worldwide. The satanic element indicated by the raw eating of hearts and livers of prisoners, still beating after just being torn from their chests. Cannibalism by ISIS leaders. ISIS aids the source quantum creature employed by the CIA, NSA and Rothschild and his color revolution hybrid warfare destabilization of the Middle East, Russia and China as well as of Europe and USA to create police state control for the protection of the populaces. Indeed, the problem, reaction, solution dialectic is used by Illuminism to control society and dumb it down in this way. Bruhl alleged that some within the Illuminati were so heartless as to believe that their socialist world order must be brought about even if the orchestrating of wars, etc., had to be accomplished in order to create the conditions necessary for establishing it. Or, in other words, that the end justified the means. These lost souls were and are apparently convinced that they have the divine right to decide the fate of nations, and that the masses of humanity exist for no other reason than to serve their cause. They consider themselves gods and the rest of humanity as mere mortals. So much for the end result of the false promise that was given to man by the serpent rays as revealed in Genesis chapter 3, which was that men could be as gods, and that the creature could be independent from or equal to the Creator. Prince Philip of England of the Coburg-Saxe-Gothic clan, descended from Vlad the Impaler or Dracula of Transylvania. Prince Charles has a stake in Transylvania and lives in Dracula's Transylvania 6 months out of each year, has blood transfusions regularly from young children to make him live longer, like many of the billionaire globalist class. Like Al Gore of the firm Blood and Gore, who skims off the carbon tax scam, keeps raw blood in his refrigerator. The Bohemian Grove is a super-ultra-elite club, including presidents of the United States, that practice bizarre satanic druid customs during the summer solstice in a grove in the redwood forest above San Francisco, when the sun, Sol, appears to be at its highest point in the sky. One of the Earth's hemispheres is at its maximum tilt towards the sun. It creates the longest daytime of the year. Then the Bohemian Grove emulate the ancient satanic secret cosmic mystery cults of Babylon, Rome, and Greece. The members secretly celebrate and sacrifice to the old gods such as Moloch, Ishtar, Cybele, Lilith, Attis, sun gods Mithras, and Apollo, Sol invite this unconquered sun. Bohemian Grove with the cremation of care ritual, where they sacrifice a child, killing it and burning it. They say they pretend to, beneath a 40-feet stone statue of an owl symbolizing Minerva and thus Cybele. Bohemian Grove. Prince Philip of Britain once asked ICL, International Computers Limited, for a secure operating system of 15 levels where you could see your level and the levels underneath you, but not the levels above. This indeed is the way all secret societies work, and like Russian dolls, one within the other, the secrets get more deep and more secret, and that all the myths expounded by all the lower levels are lies, and the highest level only tells the truth, which explains all the other levels. This final secret must be intense because only the highest psychopaths can implement it as they are globally implementing it now. The Luciferian species are humans who have meditated and learned, perhaps many tens of thousands of years ago, how to cut off from God by using energy blockages to block chakras above the head so they can live outside the body in private universes made possible by draining the psychic energy of their human prey, so they seem like psychopathic aliens to us. Then they download into their mind-weakened sons, throwing their sons out, on their 21st birthday so as to become the head of their baron, lord or crown families and control their multi-trillion-dollar, thousands of years old family's wealth, to manage the human herd. By removing connection with their hearts and consciences, they are thus less than human, a new species looking like humans but in fact, psychopathic intra-human parasites. The satanic species are lower management who are given money and power. They are, like all humanity, victims of the Luciferians, taught to ritually degenerate themselves and further degenerate themselves in order to maintain their energy, which at every stage is vampiristically harvested by the Luciferian watchtower elite who live outside the body. Because Luciferians live outside the body and only want to vampirize human spiritual energies in order to live forever, they will consider any solution to problems. Their victim Satanists are their psychopathic infiltrator, lives for Satan destroyers of people, wealth, infrastructure, culture, goodness. Who are promised eternal life for their service, they lie. Satanists use infiltration to infect, take over and destroy each new civilization using war and the false satanic economics of Adam Smith, Ricardo, Mills, Keynes and von Hayek to create the destruction of infrastructure for the policy of poverty or austerity to control the human herd for tens of thousands of years. Bohemian Grove. Our oligarch masters like Madame Bovary, Count Vlad the Impaler and Gilles de Rais, have used blood for thousands of years as part of their rituals. See video above. A picture of the satanic ritual, the cremation of care, where United States presidents, politicians and their oligarch masters, Grovers, from the Eleusinian mysteries and the Druids who all perform their rituals in groves, burn a baby on an altar in front of a 40-feet stone owl, dedicated to Minerva and thus Cybele, the state religion of the Roman Empire, in front of a lake. Fake gang. Bohemian Grove Gatriarchy wise OLDOWLS, including presidents of the USA, plan on preying on the victim human race which cannot see in the darkness their propaganda and mind control creates so they can devour you. The Satanist Grovers make policy between Luciferian rituals, romping around in the redwoods and togas. Their attitude, hey nothing personal. You've heard of satanic Darwinian survival of the fittest, haven't you? We owls can see in the dark, you can't. Therefore we are entitled to eat you, right? Of course we're right. And so it has been for thousands of years. And so we intend to keep it. Bohemian Grove, the Grovers, Congress, Union of Sacred Masculine and Sacred Feminine, the Dove, swallowed by Rothschilds and minions such as Morgans, Rockefellers etc. Their lodge member urban planner and his masters are telling you, Congress, representative democracy, ha, suckers, we OWN you and your congressman. Ha, and they are saying that in broad daylight, which gives them a big charge of legitimacy and empowerment, for they are illuminated and you are in the dark. I guess the education system isn't foolproof indoctrinating your children into Bolshevik communism. They need more weapons to more quickly dumb down humanity. Vaccines are all set up to make the tribe over at the Rockefeller Medical Industrial Complex $90 billion a year. Autism was practically unheard of until they started pumping babies with tainted vaccines to turn them into a bunch of handicapped chimps. If you really think that my analysis is a form of softness or passivity, then you really misread me and the purpose of this site. You probably know that it is a well-known problem with despots and dictators when they gradually surround themselves with only those kind of advisors who enthusiastically agree with everything the despot wants to hear and with everything the despot says. Enemy propaganda is like this. My question to you is simple. Do you want to turn into a despotic reader? Somebody who will come to this site to hear his views supported, his ideas vindicated and his hopes affirmed? Or do you prefer to come here, get what I hope is an honest, if generally cautious, analysis which you can then either accept or reject? My job is to try to present to you the truth as best as I can distinguish it, and see below the supporting evidence, even when that truth is cautious or, worse, unpleasant. Look. The intelligence process goes through what is called the 4A's: acquisition, analysis, acceptance, action. The first one is getting the data, info. The second one means making sense of it and presenting it to your client, in this case, all of you. The third one is always overlooked: acceptance by the client, that is, the willingness to hear a negative or disappointing analysis. This is the part which you, collective you, must do, or refuse to do. Last is action. Breakfast at Owl's Nest Camp, Bohemian Grove, July 23, 1967. Around the table, left to right, Preston Hotchkiss, California Governor Ronald W. Reagan, Harvey Hancock, standing, Vice President Richard M. Nixon, Glenn Seaborg, Jack Sparks, unidentified individual, and Edwin Pauley. Courtesy of Edward W. Carter, deceased. Lawrence Barkley reporting on the Manhattan Project to create the atomic bomb, lunching with future President Eisenhower and past President Hoover at Bohemian Grove, July 23, 1950. The elite, for 10,000 years, have used meditation and psychic powers as part of their mind control arsenal. Consciously, they have denigrated meditation in all normal, mind-controlled, non-questioning people, because the people who do not question are kind of dumb. Meditation is one of the powers which controls the world, therefore learn meditation. The actions I recommend are the avoidance of poison, and the act of getting the poison out of the body, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually with energy enhancement meditation course either by video or live, with us, deprogram, become normal, spread the plan. There is a path. Want to learn how to remove mind-controlling energy blockage implants? More about energy enhancement meditation? Want to learn why traditional meditation techniques are designed to fail? Download free energy enhancement ebook. Download now. Free meditation ebook name, email. Download now. Consciously created fake gangs, all rituals, religion, education, secret services and political movements have been scientifically engineered to create fake gangs for 10,000 years. It's what the old Roman Empire, and the Babylonian Empire, and the cult of Apollo, and the Byzantine Empire did before. The Guy Fawkes plotters were a fake gang controlled by the London government. The UK's General Frank Goodson, trailblazing fake terrorism, refers to the fake gangs set up by the security services. The idea of the fake gang is to carry out acts of violence which can then be blamed on other people. Fake gangs have been used in Ireland, IRA, Vietnam, Italy, Gladio, Turkey, Belgium, the Philippines, Kenya, Malaya, Iraq, Syria, ISIS, New York, Al-Qaeda, and many other places. Lord Stevens, a former UK police chief, is quoted as saying that only 3 out of 210 terrorist suspects he arrested in a probe in Northern Ireland were not working for either the police, the security service MI5 or the UK Army. On December 21, 2011, we learned that the IRA was run by the UK security services. Stephen Gray's book The New Spy Masters says the UK intelligence services used the family of IRA leader Gerry Adams as spies for the UK military. It would seem that the security services set up satanic pedophile child abuse rings in order to control certain key people. The fake gangs idea has been used since Babylon 10,000 years ago. With this scientific engineering of society, the satanic religion, another fake gang, has spread and infiltrated every noble family, every noble civilization, and it is even now infiltrating your country, your civilization. All rituals, religion, education and political movements are designed to create fake gangs of psychopaths who can then be used to create control through chaos-created poverty, the oligarchic policy of poverty, destroying infrastructure, preventing human evolution. Consciously created fake gangs. 1. ISIS, Venetian created MI6 created Wahhabism in 1706, based on the same principles as Lutheranism, and institutionalized it in MI6 created Saudi Arabia to create destabilizing jihadi armies creating chaos in the Middle East, Russia and China. 2. Protestantism, Luther, like Abdul Wahhab was a paid agent working for Venetian Cardinal Contarini. 3. Eden, since 1430, whipping and fagging to create fierce homosexual pedophile warriors in an educational system based on Greece and Sparta, the foundation of the British Empire. 4. Satanism/Luciferianism/33rd degree Freemasonry, pagan rituals and myths used to pervert, degenerate and control a psychopathic ruling class. Mal was a 33rd degree Freemason. 5. Satanic Sabbaton Frankists infiltrate Jews and Jewish organizations worldwide. Pagan rituals and myths used to pervert, degenerate and control a Jewish psychopathic ruling class of Don Mijdrecht, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Sifs, Warburgs. 6. Karl Marx, wrote Das Kapital from his MI6 provided office in the British National Museum under Ambassador Urquhart creating MI6 inspired communism, Russian Revolution, 65 millions tortured dead, and Mao's Chinese Revolution, 85 millions tortured dead, and socialism. George Orwell's totalitarian texts 1984 about, stamping in your face, forever. The totalitarian or legalist fake gangs sprang from this bough. Capitalists, Marxists, Communists and Socialists spring from the same fake gang's bough. 7. Catholicism and Cybele and Attis worship and its castrated galley homosexual Pradrasti priests, the state religion of the Roman Empire, morphed. EnergyEnhancement.org.
So you can all watch that article, energyenhancement.org. Often religion is mixed in with these things, because they form controlled opposition to themselves, so they try to mix the truth with lies, and often true believers are exposing them, because then they know, you know, that God does not exist, that all religion is an abomination, and then you will likely think the rest they say is also not true. But of course, of the cannibalism and blood bathing of British royals, etc., eating of the human heart, that's all documented, and that they used to do that doesn't mean that they don't do it anymore. It's not proof that they're not doing it anymore. I mean, Select the display, capture. So thanks for putting that up, interesting info.
To prevent a two-state solution world war, including the agreement the allies of Israel and Palestine may not intervene if they go to war with each other to prevent WW3 try to convince people with influence. Two states sounds like divide et impera to me, divide to defeat, their retarded method to gain more fake control, fake power. So check my channel and please like and subscribe or let me know if I'm wrong about anything. So check my channel and please like and subscribe or let me know if I'm wrong about anything. They control people's emotions with an neural network that can simulate any human, so it's not a good idea to let your emotions control you, only logic. It's done with wireless energy, called scalar waves by some, not microwaves. Synthetic telepathy is real. Reaction to targeted individual testimony 2017-05-06-431. I'm a conspiracy factist, not theorist. My channel has info that is crucial for your survival. One idea is that it makes sense to prepare for a possible two-state solution world war with a radiological water filter and storable food. That you are good looking may be another factor in relation to stalking. Just visit my channel if you want to know more. Some words are misspelled deliberately. See and sense no more. They have made choices with your tax money I would not have made. I think that's true for a lot of people. Old people that are dying might understand this better. YouTube video, Islam is Satan's cult of evil. The real truth about Islam and its false prophet Muhammad. Uploaded by Christian Prophecy. 99,751 views, 1,554 likes, 387 dislikes. Islam is Satan's cult of evil bent on world conquest. It is Satan's end-time army. Muhammad was a demon-possessed psychopath that created a religion that allowed him to live a completely selfish life. Presented by Bill Federer. Demons do not exist and they left out Muhammad's pedophilia. Being vegetarian is healthier than being a cadaver eater, prophet, antifet, whatever. An accomplice of a confidence trickster or swindler who poses as a genuine customer to entice or encourage others. I used to be a shill in a Reno gambling club. What is Avalian 88's real name? Her full name is Veronica Bouchard. 19 years old, higgypop.com/blog/Avalian. She is a Jew. She is mentally ill and in a few months she will disappear and you won't see her again until the current meds wear off. Turntobong S. 1.11 months ago thaw or shammer _2.10 months ago. Even if she is a Jew, so what? If she spreads the message about the parasitic filth that the Jewish race is, then there's no harm done. Her name is Veronica Rothman. She's mentally ill, dude. You are a fucking moron. In 2001 she was involved in a horrific car accident with her aunt, who is a Jew scammer, but Veronica, Evalian, wasn't wearing a belt and suffered a terrible head injury. She has been a nightmare for her dad and mom since. If she is trying to troll the movement, she is doing a really bad job at it. Her videos are leading new people into the movement. Realism_singularity https://www.reddit.com/user/Turntobong, November 8, 2016, extra. Jew media says Evalian's name is Bouchard, not Rothman. Blindlight.org. I really like her videos, also because she is sexy. They try to change it into history is written by the victors instead of the victor, based SJW's rule. Watch Donald Trump on two-state solution World War III prevention on YouTube. To be SWAVTW4 comment to the video, Fox News live stream now 24/7, Fox Media, President Trump latest news, USA breaking news. Daniel Doucette? We are not whites, we are people of no color. Good video, very positive. The title is beyond me though. One of the goals of my video is to reach President Trump and the UN so the agreement makes clear allies of Israel and Palestine may not intervene if Israel and Palestine go to war with each other, and to tell people to prepare for possible terrorist attacks of the fake ISIS, Mossad, and a possible nuclear war to depopulate Earth and create a global government. NWO, Jesuits and Freemasons. We do not have to save the Earth but ourselves. create cure against aging and a perfect society in which we will live happily eternally, which is possible because everything is energy. Maybe you can tell me why you have chosen that title for your video. Peace plus love, Ulrich. Reaction to a comment to the video, Donald Trump on two-state solution World War III prevention on YouTube, anti-Sammy dig, no one wants George Soros EU superstate, to be ruled from Brussels, XIT, history is written by the victor. To find out WHO the dictator is look at what is censored mistrust authority because people have been killed for questioning authority, generalization equals psychological warfare technique. The votes are counted and then Putin a computer? Religion stays an illusion. EU says opposition to George Soros is anti-Semitic dailystormer.com. The Vice President, Mike Pence, has Jewish Israeli cousins. The evangelical Christian from Indiana has Orthodox Jewish relatives, one of whom lives in the Golan Heights and is eager to meet his cousin. U.S.-Israeli financed terrorists murder 70 Syrian civilians including children in car bomb attack April 16, 2017 White supremacist shooting at Blackpool party is a hoax and an arch-fake May 01th 2017 France terror attack a total hoax with Photoshop fakes? April 23, 2017 claimed rape of 15-year-old Judy Huth by Cosby is a setup by the Zionists August 03th 2015 Hollywood Zionists send message to Bill Cosby by killing his only son April 19, 2017 NoDiesInfo.com. Good slogan, no blood for cancer oil. But what are they chanting? A nice guys matter BO lives matter C old wives matter. Regulation of immigration is not racist. Possibly illegal comments in the chat of the YouTube video, Live, Antifa vs. Supporters, New Orleans, Louisiana Confederate Monument May 7, 2017 Vlad the Impaler? Kikes. Are parasites, hang the Jew wherever you find him. Rabel 95 gas Trump for being a Jew? Lover Rabel 95 gas Trump has? A Jew. Global government equals treason divide and rule. Split the opposition so that it ceases to threaten your own power. Transhumanism, the belief or theory that the human race can evolve beyond its current physical and mental limitations, especially by means of science and technology. If you suspect a virus or adware on your PC, run scans with a DW cleaner, a Veer PC cleaner and super anti-spyware, all freeware. Source-funded left-wing anarcho terrorists plotting to sabotage Trump and overthrow the Republic. Bill Gates and George Soros fund Monsanto and a world depopulation agenda. Naturalnews.com. Boycott Monsanto companies. Google for list. Dom your timer. Let's eat. Bon appetit in Japanese. Itadakimasu. Did you know? Windows itself has a keylogger, a program that logs all keys you press including passwords. 5.10.17. 1224 Trojan deleted, trj/sid.ac:\program data /Microsoft /performance /monitor performance monitor.dll Trojan deleted, trj, gdstat.ac:\adcleaner /quarantine /files Trojan deleted, trj/genetic.genc:\program files /common files /nubzo /gn update /sumf32.x. The virus or malware installs two icons on the taskbar, Search and Microsoft Edge. Search tries to open the page, http://www%searching.com/?prd equals set_up and s equals h59 zbc and bl1 bu, 5 of 20 fa 88 fac 41 c4a 195 499 ba 1646043. Edge tries to open the same page, getting rid of http://www%searching.com_. Microsoft Community Upload VR Experiment Video. A Universal Peace Academy, UPA. Gadet is someone who is actively seeking to make a difference in the world. Zechariah 14 ? Zechariah Bible prophecy. All nations surround Israel. To prevent two-state solution. World War ADD allies of Israel and Palestine may not help if they go to war with each other. Ryan M. Maybe Russia wouldn't have hacked the DNC server if their password wasn't password. Is Putin a homophobic Jehovah's Witnesses hater? Become a prepper now, Leslie Silk. The fact that all of these hearings are public tells us this is strictly propaganda. Peter Van Den Ever, in WO. Is losing, in WO Timer, in DTV. Buzz Aldrin wants NASA to retire the space station. Here's why: more fake Mars missions planned, of course. ICE announces largest anti-gang crackdown in agency history. Washington Post. 17 hours ago. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, CDC accepts all manner of reported vaccination effects, even symptoms of the Hulk polity. Fact. 19 hours ago. In dry air at 20 degrees Celsius, the speed of sound is 343 meters per second, or a kilometer in 2.91 s. When there is a lightning flash and 8 seconds later the thunder sound is heard, the lightning is 2,744 meters away, 8 times 343 meters. Your torrent client could help hackers hijack your computer. Extremitic.com. Fuck racism and homophobia. Islamophobia does not exist because the 164 jihad verses in the Quran are real. Live chat. Ulrich Kaufman. If the ADD allies of Palestine and Israel may not help if they go to war with each other, the two-state solution cannot lead to a world war. Like of Ollie Girl. Trump equals? Incompetent Koch brothers clown puppet, possibly illegal remark. Hunter Legacy 777 ? Plaza God don't miss ... Let the snipers aim be true. 9/11 equals Jesuit job. In the YouTube chat of the video, live. President Donald Trump speech at Liberty University commencement ceremony May 13, 2017. Trump live defend U.S. against people that want a global gov reverse polarization. IT as a whole tree of cunts. LOL. No blood for cancer. Oil plus make America great again. Ulrich Hoffman. Let logic rule, not dogma. Goy bells. Hitler didn't start indiscriminate bombings. Churchill did. The bombing of Bulgaria was Churchill's idea, and he remained the driving force behind the argument that air raids would provide a quick and relatively cheap way of forcing the country to change sides. Spectator.co.uk. Hitler's OKW Directive No. 2 and Luftwaffe Directive No. 2 prohibited attacks upon enemy naval forces unless the enemy bombed Germany first. Forum.exhistory.com. The Nazis kept meticulous records in the camps, including death certificates for every prisoner that died, and death books summarizing the deaths. The Soviets captured the Auschwitz records but hid them for 45 years. A stone plaque was placed at Auschwitz. Stone plaque 4 million. The Auschwitz entrance stating that 4 million had died there. In the early 90s the Russians released the documents, samples, and a summary analysis. Can be seen here. http://www.hollyoaks101.org/Auschwitz Museum. The data shows that more Roman Catholics died Auschwitz. Stone plaque 1.5 million at Auschwitz than Jews. The old stone plaque stating that 4 million had died was replaced by the plaque shown to the left claiming that 1.5 million had died. The new number was not documented. Based on the documents, the figure should be on the order of, some months are missing, 100,000. Remarkably, or not, the 6 million total for Jewish victims of the Holocaust was not affected. The documents captured by the British and US forces, over 60 million documents, have been kept secret to all except the Hollyoaks authorities at Badr al-Sin to this day. Hollyoaks101.org. The Satanic Calendar of Forbiddenknowledge.com disappeared. 404, not found. Thanks to cachedpages.com, I can now provide you all with the full Satanic Calendar as it appeared on March 5, 2016. Satanic Calendar http://www.newagefrom.co.za/satanic1.htm. Also 404, not found. January 7, Street Wine Ball Day. Blood rituals, dismemberment, animal, human sacrifice. 17, satanic revels, sexual rituals. 20 to 26, sacrifice preparation, kidnapping, holding and ceremonial preparation of person for human sacrifice. 26, the Muir ritual, grand climax. Sex rituals and human sacrifice of woman, child. February 2, Candlemas, mass initiation of new members and animal or human sacrifice. March 1, Streetiacat Day, blood rituals involving the drinking of human blood for strength and homage, honors to demons. 20. Vernal, spring equinox, a feast day involving orgies and animal or human sacrifice. 24. Feast of the Beast, a 16-year-old girl becomes the bride of Satan in a marriage ceremony. April Easter weekend, Black Mass, Black Sabbath, to mock the death of Jesus Christ, a man is sacrificed on Good Friday. On Easter Sunday, known to Satanists as Unholy Sunday, a woman or man is sacrificed followed by 3 days of fasting and chanting. 19 to 25 Sacrifice preparation, kidnapping, holding and ceremonial preparation of person for human sacrifice. 25 The Muir ritual, grand climax, sex rituals and sacrifice of a woman or young girl. 30 Walpurgis night / Beltane, one of the most important nights on the satanic calendar. Blood rituals and human sacrifice take place. May 24 Ascension Day, rituals to mock the ascension of Jesus Christ into heaven. June 17 Corpus Christi, feast to mock the body and blood of Jesus Christ. 21 St. John's Eve, feast day with orgies and animal or human sacrifice. July 1 Demon Revels, blood rituals and sexual relations with demons. 20 to 27 Sacrifice preparation, kidnapping, holding and ceremonial preparation of person for sacrifice. 27 Grand Climax, sexual rituals and female sacrifice. August 1 Lammas Day, animal or human sacrifice. 3 Satanic Revels, sexual ritual. September 20 Autumnal Equinox, midnight host, blood ritual. Dismemberment of corpses, hands are removed from Hand of Glory rituals. Cannibalism usually occurs. 23 Feast day and sexual orgies, with human sacrifice. October 22 to 29 Sacrifice preparation, kidnapping, holding and ceremonial preparation of person for human sacrifice. 28 to 30 Satanist High and Holy Days, related to Halloween, human sacrifices. 31 All Hallows Eve, Halloween, one of the 2 most important nights of the year. Attempts are made to break the bond which is keeping the doors to the underworld closed. Blood and sexual rituals, sexual association with demons. Animal and human sacrifice, male or female. November 1 to 3 High and Holy Days, related to Halloween, human sacrifices. December 22 Summer Solstice, animal and human sacrifices are made. 24 Demon Revels, male and female sacrifice. 25 Yuletide, celebration of the birth of the sun as a young babe to the great goddess. The Satanist's own birthday is very important. The Satanist says, every man is a god if he chooses to recognize himself as one. Lave, the Satanic Bible, the 8 Sabbaths to February, Candlemas April, varies. Good Friday 30 April May night, Maypole Dance 1 May Beltane, May Day, 21 June St. John's Eve 1 August Lammas 31 October Halloween 1 December St. Thomas Day. Colors black darkness, night, evil, devil, sorrow, blue vigilance, water, tears, sadness, pornography, green vegetation, nature, soothing, restful, red blood, physical life, energy, white cleanliness, purity, innocence, yellow perfection, wealth, glory, power. The red pill and its opposite, the blue pill, are popular cultural symbols representing the choice between knowledge, freedom, and the sometimes painful truth of reality. Red pill, falsehood, security, and the blissful ignorance of illusion. Blue pill wiki /red_pill_and_blue_pill. Truth and falsehoods are real, but the red and blue pill are fictional. Why not? The red and the green pill. Prescription drugs are a leading killer in the US, and so is misdiagnosis by doctors. Jew propaganda? The neural network came up with the pesos that way, so you must kill all believers where you find them is allowed as well? Get the balance right. The non-religion of peace. Selling Korans is still allowed, isn't it? Propaganda. 1. Information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote a political cause or point of view. 2. A committee of cardinals of the Roman Catholic Church responsible for foreign missions, founded in 1622 by Pope Gregory XV. Wiki, propaganda. We're sorry, South Park episodes can only be streamed in the United States. Somebody mentioned George P. Bush in my skull last night. Perhaps somebody made a mistake and I was hearing some high-placed officials. Later I also heard what seemed to be a live broadcast of protesters. The Bush Dynasty of Death, 9/11 New World Order 911no.com. Is it possible the torture with the beam was done by George W. Bush, Skull and Bones, without the knowledge of Adolfo Nicholas, Superior General of the Jesuits, who tortured my teeth out of my mouth and my mother to death with the FIBA array in Poker Flats, Alaska? It seems logical only Adolfo Nicholas in control of the alphabet agencies can be the one responsible. Or are there non-governmental organizations or people with access to synthetic telepathy and through-the-wall radar? Perhaps the person said George W. Bush, not P. Prescott. Government using citizens as guinea pigs and torturing innocents. Rants.com. The torture started under Bush and their neural network can speak any language, usually your local language. It is a global torture system. The two-state solution is no solution. HuffingtonPost.com. Bennett tells Netanyahu to reject two-state solution ahead of Trump's I-24 News. Press release, registration-May 13, 2017. Bennett chides Netanyahu for not rejecting two-state solution. World Israel News 20 hours ago. Russia's Putin backs two-state solution between Israel and Palestine. Daily Saba May 12, 2017. I think a two-state solution world war is not preventable. It's clearly the Jesuits' plan for a global government. Edith, 9 hours ago. Bennett is correct, so the question is, how to get the people's message out to Trump when we can't trust our PM to speak for us. The message that according to 80% of Israelis Oslo is dead and we want the one-state solution that is annexation/100% sovereignty, with Jerusalem our undivided capital where Trump promised to move the USA embassy to. My worries about Trump's short visit, I worry most about Bibi, only representing himself trying to cling to power, whispering two-state solution nonsense in Trump's ear. I'm confident that Trump will see through Abbas's lies, but will he see through Bibi's lies as well? My proposal, everywhere Trump goes in Israel he should see signs with the same slogans. The people of Israel want one state, sovereignty now, don't sell us out, you promised embassy move and Jordan is Palestine. Keep it simple and the same old throughout Israel. I'd be willing to contribute money to see this done. Crowdfunding. Anyone? Is there anybody who can take the initiative? An advertising company? A large printing company? 1 million signs and billboards is what we need. Around the King David Hotel, printed on Trump's napkins, all over Masada, yes even at Yad Vashem. In the hotel, along the streets and roads, in front of the PM's home and Knesset, on t-shirts, on cars and baby strollers and hanging from balconies. Make flags with one of these slogans to hang under the Israeli flag. Remember, everywhere Trump goes he must see the same messages over and over again. This is the only way to get through to him in my opinion. If you like this idea please pass it on. We have 1 week to get it done. WorldIsraelNews.com. The previous is just a comment to the article. Bennett chides Netanyahu for not rejecting two-state solution. Trump cannot prevent the two-state solution from being implemented, not even if he wanted to, and because they want a two-state solution world war in totalitarian global government, the Jesuits will attempt to prevent an addendum that prevents a two-state solution world war from being added to the agreement. If the two-state solution would include the allies of Israel and Palestine may not intervene when Israel and Palestine go to war with each other, that would rule out that the agreement leads to world war. So this is why they have been silencing and isolating me. People are at this stage more brain controlled than most oral of them realize. Russia's Putin backs two-state solution between Israel and Palestine. DailySpa.com. Skull and Bones two-state solution World War III unavoidable. Prep with radiological water filter plus food. Two-state solution World War, John Kerry Skull and Bones. Prepare with a radiological water filter and storable food.
So I'm thinking perhaps they don't know that Russia is an ally of Palestine. So they think it can't happen or whatever.
to prevent a two-state solution world war, including the agreement the allies of Israel and Palestine may not intervene if they go to war with each other to prevent WW3. See my YouTube channel, Ulrich Kaufman, for more info. Comment to the Sun article, Global Threat Could World War III Happen in 2017? How threats from Syria, Russia, Iran, North Korea and ISIS are mounting. 30 comments. Jarrett McClimmer was 33 when he set himself on fire. Check all 33 songs on the music page, soundclick.com. Bandit equals 798206. Rosar says, May 14, 2017 at 5 o'clock a.m. 2 or 3 seconds earlier he could have been saved. I read some guy tried kicking the lighter out of his hand and got burned. Was hard to tell. Sometimes people will never try it again if they come that close, then others will. Hats off to the guy that tried to help. Miscopy.com. Macron expected to support two-state solution, says BDS is anti-Semitic. Jerusalem Post. Israel News 19 hours ago. Need for two-state solution in Palestine and Israel has become urgent. German President. Reuters Tuesday, May 9, 2017. Theory: the government has been hijacked by criminals with directed energy weapons and through-the-wall radar. Russia's Jehovah's Witnesses ban backed by flourishing satanic church in Moscow. Newsweek. May 12, 2017. Jehovah's Witnesses are very strongly cultic in both doctrine and behavior, thus fitting both categories of false doctrine and mind control. Cultwatch.com/jw.html. The founders of both faiths, the Mormons and JWs, were of the Illuminati bloodline. Charles Taze Russell, who founded the Watchtower Society, Jehovah's Witnesses, was of the Illuminati Russell bloodline, which also founded the infamous Skull and Bones Society at Yale University. Charles Taze Russell was a Satanist, a pedophile according to his wife, and a friend of the Rothschilds. Indeed, it was the Rothschilds who funded the Jehovah's Witness operation into being, along with other Illuminati bankers, through contributions by organizations like the Rothschild-controlled B'nai B'rith. This was proved in a court of law in 1922. One of the key people involved in this was Frank Goldman, who later became president of B'nai B'rith. Why would an organization set up, in theory, to help Jewish people and promote the Jewish faith, be funding into existence the Jehovah's Witnesses? I think the name Rothschild answers the question. Russell was also a high-degree Freemason and Knights Templar. He promoted Zionism, another Rothschild creation. C was Hitler Rothschild, on behalf of his friends and backers. HiddenMysteries.org. We have a new weapon, just within the portfolio of our scientists, so to speak, which is so powerful that, if unrestrainedly used, it could wipe out whole life on Earth. It is a fantastic weapon. Khrushchev, to the Presidium. January 1960. Chenier.org/books/verdalens/s75.htm. Psychoenergetics is simply using the scalar interferometers to manipulate and engineer the human psyche. The quantum potential weaponry, possessed by only 3 nations, is supreme, because it uses multiply connected space-time, and does not involve propagation of M energy through space as does the longitudinal M-wave interferometers. NASA won't send astronauts on new rocket's first mission despite Trump's request. Live.com. The New York Times reports that adding astronauts to the mission would have added between $600 and $900 million to the already $24 billion allocated budget, and possible delay it another year. Thank you for your like. I'm doing my best to save us all, the whole human race. E. Williams? New FBI Director, Trump's daughter. Perhaps someone could Skype the president about the two-state solution world war agreement, or whoever can add the addendum. Joseph Fritzl is a Jew. YouTube. Anti-Jewish boycotts. Jewish virtual library tests their voice of God weapon. We have to choose sides, both of them. Left and right will, eventually, unite. Theory. But seriously, there is no left and right. Both sides are controlled by the same Jesuits and Masons. It's better to be a lover than a hater. Take action now. So Trump revealed the Mossad? Is that classified now? Bob Knight 33 ? POTUS has the right to share any intel at any time to anyone. Nothing illegal. letting it beam. Who screamed? As treats, legally 33 ? Donald Trump is the president. The press needs to shut their big mouth and respect him. Press 1 if you agree. He tried to give 20% of the US uranium to Russia. Mossad's Nation. Chat message found in the live stream. President Donald Trump joint statements with President Erdogan May 16, 2017 press conference chat. When Trump supports terrorist Erdogan. Erdogan is a terrorist on Twitter. Turkey's Erdogan, Muslim Brotherhood is ideological, not terrorist. Erdogan tells Merkel to stop saying Islamist terrorism. Daily Mail Online. Adureds. Hey Trump. Talk about the genocide of the Armenians. All religions are abominations. Fox News live stream. President Trump latest news today. Possibly illegal chat remarks. Kush attack kill white infants. My cat rancid kill all niggers. Kill all. Debatory ? 30 minutes ago the news was Trump giving US secrets to the Russians. We're not even talking about that now? ! Now it's obstruction. Trump's done. Tom Sawer? Using Jew commie terms like racism and anti-Semitism is the verbal equivalent of digging your own grave before you're shot. Terms like sexism and homophobia aren't words, they are concepts. Daddy's girl knee? Harf and that other pig layover from Obaris? Crapping on America, oh yeah, including the man boy at the podium. All three ought to be disposed of. Raphael C. Jews are the worst scum on earth. We may and should not blame all Jews unless we can prove they are all involved in the depopulation or all do what the voice of God weapon tells them to, which is highly improbable or not. Apollo moon landings are a hoax. See my channel Ulrich Kaufman on YouTube for the evidence that proves it beyond any reasonable doubt not found in most top 10s. Ulrich Kaufman. Not the whole government is criminal, that's their problem. James Finlaw. Hillary is died, round up whole secret society members. Ulrich Kaufman. If we would all follow what is written in the chat we'd all be making love. Fuck. Which deity are you on? LOL. Make America paid again. Cure against aging, of course. Make America raped again. Make America rate again. No people. ITS. Make America great again. Himp 4. Victory. FBI sitting on evidence proving Seth Rich murdered for posting DNC emails to WikiLeaks. No spin. I see Trump is meeting with world leaders. Why don't the MSM cover that? Good day. Hillary spit in the communion wine in church. Space monkey? No evidence, no impeachment? Free weed for single chicks. I am real. The voice of DoD weapon. Hitler shut down the Rothschild banks, kicked all Freemasons out of the ranks. Eric W. Some call it Goyim revolution. How Masonic is Mossad. Assholes take risks. Quote. Adding one line to the two-state solution agreement rules out World War III. Global government? What Jews did to Germany in 1930 are doing the same in US now. Brock Darren. 1 month ago. 29 views. Anyone thinking about making the government smaller instead of bigger? I'm transparent, it's clear, we are 1, 2, 3, sheep pull. And of course the Jesuits are the wolves. The most stunning thing to note is the Fabian Society's coat of arms seen below. A wolf in sheep's clothing. The Fabian Society is very powerful and it is connected to the latter Tavistock Institute for Human Relations. Both work towards socially engineering the world into the new scientific dictatorship and global mindset. You will notice how the Fabian Society dictate the Queen's purse from the taxpayers. Take a look at their logo and you will see a wolf in sheep's clothing. This shows you that they have a far different and more devious agenda than what they portray to the herd. Study the founders of the Fabian Society and notice their roots into the Society for Psychical Research and the powerful Coefficients Club, which was mastered above the Rothschilds by families such as the Pallavicini, whose roots are in Genoa, and a family who destroyed the Lega Lombarda financial system so the Holy Roman Empire could take control of Italy. If it's Marxist, then it's Fabian Society, my friend, and we are being moved into a Marxist system, as we in Britain know all too well. We are all too aware that Karl Marx was trained by the Jesuit order just as Lenin was. TheUnhivedMind.com. The Loyola Shield features a pair of rampant gray wolves flanking each side. St. Ignatius of Loyola was a Spanish priest and theologian, who founded the religious order called the Society of Jesus, Jesuits, and became its first superior general. Psychical, performed by art pertaining to the mind or spirit, mental, psychic, from 17th c. Quotations, theology, pertaining to the animal nature of man, as opposed to the spirit, from 18th c. outside the realm of the physical, supernatural, psychic, from 19th c. Stratfor is a joke and so is WikiLeaks for taking it seriously. The corporate research firm has branded itself as a CIA-like global intelligence firm, but only Julian Assange and some overpaying clients are fooled. TheAtlantic.com. Alternative media continues to ignore Alex Jones' Stratfor connections. https://fidsinfo.wordpress.com. Stratfor had to Alex Jones's Alex Jones creating bogus stories to circumvent Stratfor revelations. Alex Jones' Stratfor connection and the murder of Andrew Breitbart. Alex Jones and InfoWars appear to be in damage control as damning information linking Alex Jones to the Israeli intelligence firm Stratfor is spreading virally around the internet. While Breitbart may have been killed for his upcoming video release of Obama's alleged communist terror connections as put forth by Alex Jones and InfoWars, there is a possibility that he was killed by an Israeli hit team in an attempt to divert attention away from the Alex Jones Stratfor connection. While this may seem absurd, the Alex Jones Stratfor story is now posted on over 3,000 blogs and rising every hour. Louise Minch claims she has evidence that the founder of Breitbart was murdered by Russian agents. Overwhelming evidence that Alex Jones is a double agent, NLP mind manipulator, and Zionist shill. Reddit.com. To cure a disease you have to take away the cause and not just fight the symptoms. Hope equals just do it. Prayer equals misprogramming. Anything wrong with the idea to make it illegal to wear a mask or face covering at demos? Macron, Nick. The dental torturers could be corrupt or satanic police. Bilderberg, the voice to skull messages of the torturer were in Dutch. Satanic murder cults among European royalty, nobility and the Knights Templar. Gilles de Rais, Vatican, Jesuits, Mafia, Baphomet, Lave, Freemasonry, Mazzini, Pike, Baroness Lalaurie, Roman occult rituals of Lupercalia, Ninth Circle child sacrifice. Prince Philip of England of the Coburg Saxe Gothic clan, descended from Vlad the Impaler or Dracula.
So at this point I would like to add that the people that have tortured me severely are definitely capable of doing these things. I think that it is even very likely because of the ultra sadisticness of their torture, and people that haven't been tortured by them don't know what it's like. They can torture your teeth out one by one and do other severe torture, hurt, induce the maximum amount of pain with the active denial system and pulsed energy projectile. ADS is to burn people and PEP is to give the maximum amount of pain by stimulating the nerves directly. And on the other hand, though it may be likely, and some people are perhaps eyewitnesses also, it is not a good idea if you don't have evidence to write the truth about it, because then you can be accused of slander and end up in jail. So I think it's best to say I have no opinion to set the right example, unless you have evidence and you can prove it, but that doesn't matter if they control the judges with the same torture machine, same directed energy weapons, which they do of course with synthetic telepathy, and they make people that they control deny that. Display capture.
Transylvania. Prince Charles has a stake in Transylvania and lives in Dracula's Transylvania 6 months out of each year, has blood transfusions regularly from young children to make him live longer, like many of the billionaire globalist class. Like Al Gore of the firm Blood and Gore, who skims off the carbon tax scam, keeps raw blood in his refrigerator. The Bohemian Grove is a super ultra elite club, including presidents of the United States, that practice bizarre satanic druid customs during the summer solstice in a grove in the redwood forest above San Francisco, when the sun, Sol, appears to be at its highest point in the sky. One of
So put it on a CD-ROM. Ideas are bulletproof, but CD-ROMs are EMP proof, and always remember to distrust authority because people have been murdered for questioning authority.
the Earth's hemispheres is at its maximum tilt towards the Sun. It creates the longest daytime of the year. Then the Bohemian Grove emulate the ancient satanic secret cosmic mystery cults of Babylon, Rome, and Greece. The members secretly celebrate and sacrifice to the old gods such as Moloch, Ishtar Cybele, Lilith, Attis, sun gods Mithras, and Apollo, Sol Invictus unconquered sun. Bohemian Grove with the cremation of care ritual where they sacrifice a child, killing it and burning it. They say they pretend to, beneath a 40 feet stone statue of an owl symbolizing Minerva and thus Cybele. The key is that the satanic religion and its recruiting cults of Freemasonry and the Crowleyan sexual ritual Ordo Templi Orientis are fake gangs, created by men as a technique to conquer the world. EnergyEnhancement.org/Satanic Murder Cults European Royalty Nobility Knights Templar Giles de Race Vatican Jesuits Mafia Baphomet Lave Freemasonry Mazzini Bike Baroness Lalaurie Roman Occult Rituals Lupercalian Ninth Circle Child Sacrifice.htm The David Duke Show, The Zionist Deep State Support of ISIS and Destruction of the Western World May 15.
So if they are controlled opposition, then they're bound to mix in lies like about shape-shifting reptilians, flat earth, and such, religion, religious BS. The list goes on and on.
2017 20% of all child deaths in London Borough caused by inbreeding. A new report from the London Borough of Redbridge has revealed almost 1 in 5 of all child deaths in the area since 2008 were down to their parents being close relatives.
Oh, and the part that I forgot, if it's controlled opposition, then they're bound to mix in important truths as well that are often so horrible that many people would not believe them, basically. About their depopulation plans and satanic human sacrifice, cannibalism, pedophilia, etc.
The Council's report found between 2008 and 2016, 19% of child deaths in the borough were caused.
So they do that, they mix the truth with lies. Because the real opposition, real resistance to the depopulation and satanic global government who tell you the truth about these things, and they want to prevent any real opposition. So Alex Jones' controlled opposition has millions of views, and the people that reveal it are unknown to most.
By infants being born to consanguineous relationships, marriage or otherwise sexual relations between couples who are first cousins or closer. DailyStormer.com, The David Duke Show, The Zionist Deep State Support of ISIS and Destruction of the Western World May 15, 2017 While the issue of Clinton's private email server was in the headlines throughout the campaign, the contents of her emails, which were revealed by WikiLeaks and their veracity never denied, are almost never discussed. The emails show that as Secretary of State she knowingly and materially supported the rise of ISIS. WikiLeaks.
And of course you don't want these loonies that are in on it as your friends. These are badges of honor and stuff. For universal peace. I think that the article was a bit too long. The part about Prince Charles blood drinking was interesting, but the rest kind of sucked. Perhaps there's other interesting information in the article. Of course you're all free to check it out for yourselves. I've tried to make a speech engine version that I can play with virtual DJ with echo and effects, but the article is too long, so that failed twice. So I thought, let's do a broadcast, but then because that thing is still on, there was not enough CPU, so part of this broadcast is missing in the beginning. So then I shut down some things, so I hope it's still understandable, but people can read it online, so it's good that there are people that do reveal the truth about people depopulating the earth, harassing everybody with synthetic telepathy and directed energy weapons with their beam. So instead of using DW, it may be better to use the word beam or Nikola Tesla's death ray or synthetic telepathy. Scalar is also used a lot. I think they made the word scalar to hide wireless energy of Nikola Tesla. And it's the same thing, Professor Mile has proven that on YouTube, M-E-Y-L. And you can make your own scalar waves, it's quite easy. Healing scalar waves with healing frequencies. So don't give yourself cancer, it's very easy to produce these scalar waves, wireless energy. But it can be harmful as well as healing, curing. So, I love my shirt, it's a bit, it falls forward a bit basically. But this is a real giraffe print shirt. Okay. Giraffe. So I'm still vegetarian. Oh yeah, single females are still welcome for the free shiatsu hand massage. Please like and subscribe and spread the info about a two-state solution world war. It seems like they hear a voice in their heads that tells them that there will be consequences if they talk about it or something. Well, it would explain, if there's nobody that can speak about it, that they're all brain controlled by a neural network that scans for certain things and takes action, is programmed to do things. It has no conscience, it has no feelings. More about this in my previous broadcasts. So stay proactive, vigilant, prepare with the radiological water filter and storable food, peanut butter and rice. And have a good one for universal peace. I use this anyway, not the Jesuit guard greeting, because to most people this means peace. It's just a symbol for peace, and if it has to do with Churchill, history is written by the victor, not by the victors. They try to change it into the victors as if there are several winners, you know. But okay, in a war, most people know you have two countries with their allies, and of course Russia is an ally of Palestine. So to prevent a two-state solution world war, they can add that addendum to the agreement. So perhaps somebody can mail that to somebody that could do that, perhaps even anonymously. And yeah, it's better to be prepared. There is no good reason not to prepare for these calamities and emergencies that can occur concerning nuclear weapons and other biological, chemical weapons. So, universal peace now, that's what it's about. The government ought to protect and serve the taxpayers and invest in a cure against aging instead of the $150 billion costing International Space Station. I've also covered fake Apollo moon landings, the Apollo moon landing hoax, and the video of NASA itself that proves beyond any reasonable doubt that it's a scam, it's a hoax with your tax money, and that is part of ideological subversion, the four phases of active measures, which is described below in the description of this video. Creating a crisis big enough to impose their totalitarian global government, and the Jesuits are in control of it all. I think that the Jesuits are doing this, They control Skull and Bones, the alphabet agencies, the military and police are controlled by them, and their leader is Adolfo Nicholas. And they've also demolished the WTC and controlled opposition. Won't tell you this more about controlled opposition. You can Google it also, because those are people that expose controlled opposition, so they're the real resistance to these loonies that are trying to depopulate us all, to reduce the world's global population to a more controllable number, to enslave everybody, to be able to brain control everyone with synthetic telepathy. And synthetic telepathy is real. That's the Mijdrecht patent, also described on synthetictelepathy.com. So more about all this important